You know, we think like he's got a lot of experience and everything, and last year the first thing he said in the class is, you know guys, I'm stressed.
It becomes a habit, even though it's out of the zone, it's still in the zone, because now it's in your comfort zone to be outside of your comfort zone. One of the mistakes a lot of teachers, I think they do, is like they do all of this, but then the is missing, and we learn the most when.
So we're here today to understand how we can teach better and what's important in a class.
Yeah.
What makes it a good class? A good class.
Yeah.
What is a good teacher and how we can improve our teaching. So more talking about the way we teach, not so much about the content, but how we teach.
Yep.
So maybe the first question that we can ask ourselves is, you as a student, so think if like this class and that class had the exact same content, did you prefer that one? What makes it a better class?
It's a class where basically you as a student know already what you're gonna get out of it. Or at least there is like kind of an introduction into what's the mood of the class. And then, yeah, we get like, it's a good class when I get a lot of tips. And in general, when I feel that the teacher is there to help me and not to show off or to not to impose themselves, let's say. So like when the teacher is there to help me learn rather than impose his view of dancing on me. Unless it's like technique. But this is very general. Like now we're gonna talk more. We're gonna have a little bit more more things to understand. But like one of the things also that I like more is when concepts are explained by movements, not by talking. This is something really important for me that I try to also do when we teach. And when there is some talk or like something explained, a lot of practice, something explained, a lot of practice, instead of a lot of talk and small practice. I think these are like kind of the things that I look for in a class. And that the teacher does not try to sell me something that he doesn't know.
That he doesn't know.
That he doesn't know. In the sense that like you can see that he's struggling and he doesn't say it. Like I'm fine that he cannot or she cannot like do something, but if she pretends or he pretends they know how to do it. But you can clearly see that no, it's just like, so for me it's like, yeah, really not being fake is one of the big things, because I'm there trusting you with my time, and I'm there giving my whole self to you, because like when I'm in a learning state, I'm just a sponge, and I want to be relaxed in the sense that I want to be able to just pick up anything you say without me needing to filter or understand whether thing is right or wrong, whether what you say whether what you say and you do are two different things. So really, like I want to go in a class and I want to trust the teacher and just be like, like, you know, I'm just gonna do everything that you say in the way you say and the way you do it. But it starts to become a little bit strange and not enjoyable when I cannot trust the teacher, when he says something and he does something else, when there is no structure at all, but there's no objective, these kind of things, yeah, I think. But then I'm pretty easy in terms of characters. Like I enjoy people that are like more jokey, and I enjoy more like very strict teachers, I think, yeah.
You noted about the fact that you like to go to a class knowing what to expect, and yeah, I do agree. But I think the best is when you know what to expect, but actually you get something a little different from it. So for example, I went to this workshop in London, and it was just roughly a year ago, taught by Alex Toledo and Jennifer White, and it was a sort of like a femme lady style, Cuban lady style workshop. And I followed Alex Toledo since like a long time ago, and I've been to Jennifer White's classes in the past as well. And I sort of thought I knew what to expect, but actually, they actually provided a slight different structure to the class that made it even more interesting and more collaborative between everybody in the class. So we were all quite shy and nervous, quite quiet at the beginning of the workshop. And at the end, we all became definitely more friendly, approachable, almost family-like, and able to speak. And why is that the case? Well, although we know that, Alex and Jennifer have their own style, and we're going to basically learn their style, is how you basically break the ice in a workshop. So they've really focused on giving sort of trust activities before actually getting into the learning of a choreography. And I think something that I was not expecting was actually quite impressive and quite useful. So basically not just having a good relationship with the teacher, but also, I like a teacher that allows me to have a good relationship with everybody else in the class to form a good family.
So can you tell me, like, concretely, in French we say, like, meaning exactly what did they do? Was it an exercise? Was it like a game before starting? What did they do to make that change of connection between the people?
So they did, I think it was like 3 exercises or so, more or less. Don't really recall the structure of it, but I do remember one of them being partnering up with someone and sort of choosing one move that and sort of catwalking with that move towards them. And at the end, and basically the person that you were partnered up with would get closer the more confident you are, or the more you really admire yourself when doing the move. So it wasn't that the person was getting closer because they liked the move, but they will get closer if they see you become a bit more loose and more confident with actually your posture. And basically everybody just got together at the end. You're not going to be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And in the middle, you give a hug. And actually that was like the warmest hug of a stranger. And that was already like, wow. And people started chatting in the middle of, when they gave the hug. So that was one of the activities. And the second one was, we do it often in contemporary as well. And it's in different ways, but it was a circle of, in this case, mainly women to be fair, but circle of people, and one person in the middle, closing the eyes, and they would just throw themselves into the people. And basically these 2 main exercises just allowed to build trust, allowed to build respect, confidence in yourself, and reassurance that it is a safe space for everybody basically to explore their creativity, to explore their choreography, and the femme. After all, it was a femme class, femme workshop, so it was heavy on that, especially with Alex. She's very that.
What do you mean by femme workshop?
Feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what femme was?
I don't want to
like
say
family.
ladies, because obviously it's not just ladies. It's just feminine energy.
Okay.
Okay.
For this first question, if you can give me one word which for you makes a good class a good class. For me, I think one thing I really, I really find it important in a class is the rhythm of the class. So for example, I personally don't like a lot of talking. I like to learn by doing or seeing or observing. So like classes that I really enjoy, for example, when I did some palo classes in Afro-Cuban, what I love so much about it is everybody it builds the energy through the class. So we start to learn the basics and stuff, learning the bounces, and the energy goes and build up to, at the end, like you give everything. And it can be I took this example, but in any classes, in contemporary we finish with jumps and stuff. It's like for me, when there is this building up, I really enjoyed it. Because I feel like I didn't learn it through my head, but my body went through the experience. So even if I don't retain the exact steps, my body has got built muscle memories that even if I tried so hard, I remember better by doing than by trying to understand.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's my number one thing personally.
Intention.
Intention.
The teacher has to have intention. Intention to provide a good class, intention to be there, intention to like what they're doing, intention for progress. It's noticing. It's great when I can see that the teacher wants to be there. Even if they have a bad day, doesn't matter. Generally, across the days, across the weeks, I can see that the teacher wants to teach. It wants to provide this service, and it wants you to improve. So that is intention.
The other thing is like honesty, I think. Honesty. So to really be honest to themselves, to the teachers itself. So not be fake in any way. This means like because I do feel when teacher make up too much, like it feels that they're acting a lot. But I really like when it's raw, is the teacher, a little bit filtered, obviously, but like that you can see that person express themselves and go through the bad moments and good moments just by being themselves, being real and not fake. And this is like both ways person in terms of like personality, so like in terms of character, so in terms of like connection between the people. So the way you talk to people is not fake, it's not because he's your student, so I'm just gonna smile at everything that these students say. And on the other side is also the dancing part or whatever it is. Like, if you don't know something, just say you don't know instead of making up stuff, or like, if you're not good at something, you can say, look, I'm not good at this, but I can tell you that this person is good at this, so you can look at this, or I can come back to you next week and tell you exactly what's the information because I'm not sure about it. Which this honesty build that trust, the long-term trust there. I think that between teacher and students, gets created.
Now, how does it work in terms of action? So for yours, honesty, one action, if I understand, it's like say I don't know when you don't know. There's one action, for example.
Yeah.
So what actions can we put behind those three words?
Yeah.
So we could start with honesty, as you were just saying.
Yeah.
So behind honesty, I've heard that say I don't know when I don't know. This one thing.
Yeah. Then honesty, I think also like into when talking to the students. So like for example, like I want to really try to have like a nice conversation, but like not nice like polite conversation. What really like a conversation is like a personal conversation with each of the students, not during the class, but like in general. No saying hi or like talking to another person just because it comes to my classes, but really like create a connection and ask questions, like really be interested in what we do, because at the end of the day nobody is forcing us to be there and teach, but I think we need, and teachers need to understand that is part of the job. So it's like part of the job is the human relationships.
Yeah, so you were saying outside the class, which is also something we can look at. But so in the class,
Yeah, no, but
what,
this is,
what
I
would
think
you do?
I think these links, because like just before the class, he also
Yeah.
set up the class, and these also like links to the rhythm of the class. So like, but we talk
So
about the
what-
rhythm later.
What I'm saying is like it's amazing. We need to know that. But now I'm asking you in the class, how can you create a connection?
Yeah, honesty, for example, is also like telling the students when they do something that like a mistake or something, being clear, not too pushy, not too polite. In the sense like, I'm not gonna say all the time, oh, you know, you're doing well, if you're not doing well. Like, because also like they know that they're not doing well. So it's like they don't trust anymore what you say. So it kind of creates their like fakeness a little bit. So it's like give credit when it's needed, and but also like let them know when there's something that needs to be fixed. In both dancing wise or in something that they're doing, either if they're talking too much in the class, if they doing something that is disrupting the flow of the class, I think.
Yeah, for me, like what I relate to what you say is, I try to when I see improvement from what they did before. If I see improvement with themselves, so this is what I compare to. So let's say you came to my classes a few weeks, and now I can see an improvement from like week 1 or week 2.
Yeah.
I will tell you, oh, this is the right direction. So this is like something which is, I think, important, how they get better with themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
Would
What
you?
about
Yeah, Edna, would you like to put some,
anything in?
or even on honesty actions?
I think I'm gonna link honesty with intention in this case, just because I have one point in my head now, so I might as well take it out. And I've actually, we were discussing, Marie, to what extent can you tell the students of the class, right, today I'm not in a good mood? Because I personally have, some days I might not be in like my best mood than others, and that will kind of impact, although I will try not to, what I do, how I do it. And, reflecting on that conversation we had, I feel that although, you don't want to be complaining, like that's not really the approach, like you don't want to basically spread out the bad energy to them. That's not, that they're just spending their resources and time on you. So you do want to provide the best service you can, but the key is that you can. And so I think for those days is basically just letting them know in a nice way, oh, I hope you guys are having a better day than me. Something like that, a bit more of a smooth saying, smooth comment of, by the way, yeah, today's not great, but let's just, sort of light it up a little bit today. Just so that people are just aware, and they don't wonder what's wrong with you. Because that's human connection as well, after all, is it?
I completely agree on this, because I remember even like doing the class with Pinuto the first time, and we think like he's got a lot of experience and everything, and last year the first thing he said in the class is, guys, I'm stressed. And that makes you feel like, oh yeah, so he's got also, the teacher has his own feeling, and we as students, we're not just only here to receive, but we're here to share an experience with the teacher. So it's really an exchange. Even if the class is led by the teacher, we're not in 100% fully receiving everything and expecting so much from the teacher, but also here to give. We're also here to give. As a student, I love to give to the teacher. If the teacher is there enjoying themselves or not, overly enjoying themselves. But it's like I'm here to give, because I realize when I give as a student, I receive even more from the teacher.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the things that when I was doing meditation, is something that really struck with me, in the sense that the person who will guide the meditation, for example, he will say, oh, today I feel a little bit stressed, or like been sad for too long, so let's start with a quick meditation to reset us. So something that I think we could implement in the class is literally like if there is like, if we feel a little bit not in the mood for doing that class, like with the same energy that we give always, is to let people know and then tell, like, do an exercise to bring your and everybody's energy back to where they should be. And I think it's nice. So like sometimes we might say, oh guys, I feel a bit sad for some stuff that happened in my life and stuff like this, so let's do this exercise because usually helps me to do this, and I'll bring you with me, let's do it together. Or if you don't, if like we don't want to affect the students, we can even do it before the class. So we can do this exercise on our own, or tell people, look, we're gonna start 5 minutes earlier to reset our energy or whatever that needs to be reset. And then I think this is something that, like as you guys said, it will be appreciated by all the students.
How much element of new we can implement?
You
How
mean
much?
in the class?
Yes.
For the student?
Yes.
Define elements of new.
Either new movements, complete new movements, new elements, new concept, but also new way of doing, new structure. So new exercise like this, and new way of building the class. How we can, should we, is it, I'm asking, is it from 1 week to another? Is it like big difference, or is it after 3 months big difference, or through the weeks? Like you as a learner, what do you prefer?
I really like how the contemporary class. Oh, thanks. I really like how the contemporary class is structured. It's very clear. Well, okay, we had to ask, but it is very clear once asked how, where, when do we have, how much do we have left to improve to our maximum in the new content that we're learning. So we go to this class in Northern. I don't know how much I can say. I don't know, it's fine. But basically, usually it's like a 10-week course. It can be less depending on the term. And it tends to be divided by 2. I guess, it's our first time, so I don't know. But this term basically is 5 days or 5 weeks of content of the same or similar content, and then it changes after that. And it gives basically a time frame for improvement. It pushes you to improve, to make sure that on your last day you can do the best you can. Obviously it's not by force, but it does give directionality. It gives checkpoints, how much are you improving every week, and it gives courage, and it encourages you to actually go to the classes or try to when possible. And knowing that in my head personally is lovely. It's lovely because you can definitely try to push yourself as hard as you can, basically, and even explore even more forms of creativity, knowing that there is either an extra day, aka an extra week, or there isn't, basically.
Yeah, so to make it clear with you, Leandro, so you understand it. So it's 5 weeks of similar content, but each week she add a bit more. So in my Crazy Shine class, for example, I keep 4 weeks and sometimes add a bit more or change. What do you think, as your experience in other dance style, maybe hip hop and things, in what's the element of new? Do you like when it's new every time? Do you like when there's just a little bit of new? What do you think?
I think it depends of the type of classes that we are doing. In the sense, can the student pop in for just one section, or is it like one 10-week course where you close the inscription and people cannot come in anymore? Because then otherwise it creates a little bit of, this is as a teacher I'm saying, it creates a little bit of like confusion, or like you have somebody that's new and then they feel uncomfortable, or so it's like, what kind of class do you have? I think that is the first thing to think about. But then let's say that we have like the salsa classes where people can pop in at any time. I think one of the things that I like as a student is to have a structured part and to have a moment during the class where there is a little bit of experimentation all the time, or there is something new to try. So it's like 80% of the class is like structured, but depends on the structure of it. So for example, for beginners, it would be 80% of the class structured and 20% less structured. While the more advanced we go, the less new content there's gonna be, and the more the less structure there's gonna be, and the more creativity and the more like that kind of side is gonna it comes for me, and the exercises, they are like out of the norm. So it's like so to answer your question, like how often do you want like a change or something, I think the two things. One, it depends how you get people used to it and what kind of crowd you have. If you have like university people, for example, they are already used to in their everyday life, because of university, to continuously change and learn new things and change the way they think about stuff, and like doing things more exciting. If you have like a more older audience, then it happens that they have more structured life, so they might feel a little bit of friction when starting to do something different. Having said that, I think the change, so the doing something different, is in itself a muscle. So that we can develop in students. So how are the students used to? How used to are they to do something specific? In this case, how used to are they to change? Example, when we started to change where we teach in the class. So one time we teach in front, one time we teach looking at the back, one time on the side and side. At the beginning, when we did it the first time, people were very surprised. And then now, because we do it more often, we change, they get used to that. So now they used to change the directions of where we're gonna be in the class. And this is like a muscle. It's like going out of your comfort zone. If it becomes a habit, even though it's out of the zone, it's still in the zone, because now it's in your comfort zone to be outside of your comfort zone. So it's kind of like, so you can get used to everything. So the question is, when you have like a group of people, they really feel a lot of friction doing something different, what can you add that is closest to what they do already, but it feels a little bit of a change? And then you slowly like adding up that one. And one of the easiest way that I found personally is to have 80% structured, 20% no, or like 80% structured in a way that they already know, and 20% experimental, or like things that you can do. And this can be as easy as like just in the warm-up, for example. But I would not do it if it's a class where there's a lot of new people coming in, because then it set up an expectation of them from them that they like, oh, what's going on? Like, this class is strange. It started like this. Imagine how it's gonna end. So if it's new people, for example, a lot of new people, or there might come a lot of new people every time, I do the first part very structured and very easy to build up the wins, the small wins into the students. And then some point in the class, after I make some jokes, after I make it understand that it's like a very light thing, very light class, very not like a dictatorial, then I do something very small and see how they react. So like something strange, very small. So like a Suzy Q, for example, for salsa, and then we add like some shimmy or like some chicken arms or something, or and see how they react to that. If they're okay with that, then I can do more. But yeah, that this is like at the end for me what's the doing something different, doing the changes and stuff.
I want to add there that yes, I agree, and we debated whether having a course like a 10-week program might be better or not, and then you pointed about new people, and yes, having new people coming in, which it will always happen, is fine, but if there's a lot of a turnover, it can definitely limit the advances of the overall class. So actually, I personally think that putting the term in a course, like in other programs do, allows everybody already to know that even if you're new, they're still carrying on. So like, so for example, with the 80 and 20%, I think that's the good example of that. You can still have structure for new people to come in, but they have to expect that it's not just a first class thing. Second of all, having good structure is still good even for people who have been there for a long time, because if you start exploring only new things, then maybe you may question the technicality of it. Basically, there's nothing wrong with like exploring technicality all the time. But at the same time, of course, allows for new challenges and to actually push people really outside of their comfort zone if they wanted to. But I do think that new people can come into the course even if it's halfway through, especially if we divide the course in half. So instead of doing a 10-week course, we can do like the 5-day, like what you do basically in Crazy Shines on Thursday, like a month course, and then can change. Right, it's a high turnover, but still there is structure for development for people who are there for longer. But also, it's not too scary for the new people. It is a nice balance, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I had the feeling doing this that when it's the 4th week, it has been too much for the person who just turned up on the 4th week. That's something I've struggled as a teacher, and want all the people who come to the class to be fulfilled at the end, but I have experienced that difficulty.
Yeah, me too. And it is a good point, because after a new person is a potential person that will stay for a long time. So how do you not make things the same for new people to come and balance that out with the 4th day of the course, if that makes sense? Because I think it's important for that development, for someone who actually who is quite committed, not good by any sense, but just committed to dancing, actually gain something from it. Personally, I gain a lot. Personally, when I'm new to in the past, to like the 4th, when I know I'm into the 4th week of a course, I know I'm not gonna be good, but I know that, and I know that I'm gonna have a better chance the next week. So come. So how can we actually express that to them? That next week, this new content come because it's fresh for everybody.
Yeah, so this element of frustration, how you turn it into, yes, I actually then want to learn and want to get better, so I will come next week for sure to the first session, so then I will get better instead of I give up.
Yeah.
I think it might be good, but we need to test it out to actually do monthly passes, but in the sense that for the Crazy Shines. So September we do all about Orishas, and so then people know that if it's September, it's gonna be all about Orishas and stuff like this, so that they can commit for 4 weeks. But it's something that I never tried, in the sense that I don't know if people are okay with the commitment of 4 weeks thing. But and then knowing exactly each week how we're gonna have it a little bit more structured, in the sense, not structured, more expressed so that people know what's gonna happen. So like, you know, first week we're gonna do the routine, second week we're gonna work on this, third week we're gonna work on blah blah blah, and this and this and this. And and then people that buy the pass, for example, they can also get already like a video of you doing it and explaining it. So even if they miss the first or second week, they can still come and work on the technique afterwards. And it's also nice in the sense that then imagine after 1 year you get 12 classes, 12 like 1 month classes that then you can also sell online if we do the videos for before starting it.
I think that's a very good idea. So are you sort of suggesting more for, okay, in September, or I guess we work in academic year, but next September or, well, whatever, right? But let's say in September, we we put out the yearly timetable.
But it could be even like from January, for example.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or like we can even test with 1 month and be like, oh guys, February is gonna be the month of this, of I don't know, this routine or jazz or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's not the point. So the point is more like, because it can be in January, it can be anywhere. That's fine. It's more, okay, so if, regardless of 12 months or 3 months awareness, if people are aware that to this month is this, next month is that, then they can actually choose.
Yeah.
And as you said, you know, we are already going to have resources from the previous weeks, if someone have missed it, that they can actually get. So actually, we can potentially do like monthly passes of Orishas, as you said, monthly pass of the mambo,
yeah.
monthly pass of fusion, whatever. They can buy specifically that and
Yeah,
feel like they're not
September,
losing
September.
money.
Yeah.
So they can actually get the whole bundle if they're unable to attend in person, for example.
And then it could be, it could be that, and it could be also like we take like 1 hour before to do these 4 weeks to make a 1 hour video of explaining everything that you're gonna do in that month, but like compressed in one video, like 1 hour video, so that it's like a class literally that we give to people that buy the pass for them to catch up if it's not the first week, but also because it is a 1 hour class. Then after you can resell it online, or if people really enjoy it, you can then redo it like the next year, and you know, like do something similar with them.
Yeah, basically like a uni structure. Having the induction, basically, which is like 1 hour of, hey, this is what you can expect this month or this semester. And
but more like literally explaining like the routines and everything, you know, so like a proper class.
What's a good class? How would you formalize in all what we said was the most important into actions, clear actions?
I think so. Talking about the structure that you guys talked about, the 5 weeks. So it has to have some kind of structure. So a kind of repetition of what happened in the last weeks, so that you can feel that you're getting better as a student. So it could be like some warm-up techniques. It could be some techniques but there has to be a moment where the student feel like does the same thing that he did last week or 2 weeks ago, and he could not do it really well, and he starts to do it good and be like, oh, you know, I'm getting good at this. This is, I think, something really important, because without this feedback, they feel a little bit lost, or I feel also a little bit or I'm not sure if I'm getting actually this kind of things.
So now that's also why you and I, as a future teacher of Sabroso Academy, then you can really see how we already establish a frame for the warm-up. So then there is this element of new, but as we say, especially for beginner class, it's really important that we stick to the same one. So it's like make sure like we will every time provide this warm-up, for example. So that's in terms of actions. And what else? So we talk about intention and rhythm. So I understood. So also that in terms of action is, so the rhythm of the class, so here, the honesty. So I see also by honesty behind, I believe you get confident also by knowing your stuff. So as a teacher, we all agree, I think, on that we always keep learning.
Yeah.
And that will help us to also be better teacher. So that's also an action. And
I think it comes to honesty in the sense that like you are honest with yourself in saying that I'm not the best, and because I read, and it comes with intention, because so like honesty and intention together brings this like always wanting to get better, because you honestly tell yourself you're not the best, but because you want the best for the students, part of wanting the best for the students is to be the best, or like strive to be the best at what you're doing at your craft.
yeah, so we all, I mean, you and me
Yeah.
for sure have experienced that by teaching, that we made mistake, and every time when that happened, it's like, okay, I'm gonna check and then come back stronger. And so this honesty with yourself to keep learning while teaching to the best of your capability. And what am I missing? Also, be in a state of helping the students. So we talk about connections. So the connection between the teacher and the student, which is an exchange, I understood.
Yeah, it's an exchange, but also it's like it's an exchange in the sense that like what we talked before about like when you feel not good or anything like this, but it's also like a very sacred thing. Like I think it's very like we need to make sure that we never break the trust that we had, that the students have with us. And the trust doesn't come from being perfect, but comes from being honest and being intentional when we do things. So really taking care of them and making them understand that we're there to help them learn. And we're not there to show off anything related to us or to make them do things as we want.
Yeah, so I've put that as kind of a little sum up.
Yeah.
We can make it better into a file or something.
Yeah, of course.
But very drafty. What we value here is the structure of the class, that we understand how much repetition and progression we want in those weeks.
But also something, at least for me and for Sabroso in general, is like also a little bit of fun. There has to be. I think because one of the mistakes a lot of teachers, I think they do, is like they do all of this, but then the fun is missing. And we learn the most when we have fun, when there is not too much stress, when it's nice to get there. It's like nice vibe. There is nice people around. It's very.
I fully agree with that. But we were talking before a safe place. But also for me, as a safe place, I feel like whatever I do, if I make a mistake, it's okay, and I'm here to try. Yeah. So the fun part, definitely the vibe between everyone. How this energy of the class is how also as a teacher how we can make this energy positive.
Yeah.
So sum up.
But then this like we only say this, like for example for the relationship between the teacher and the student. But then another time, because I need to go, we need to talk about the relationship between the teacher and another teacher.
And that also that we have already started to do with Leandro. And also, but as you were saying, super mega important, I believe too, the connection between themselves.
Between students and students.
Students. So that's something we can elaborate.
Yeah, this is something I think we need to focus a little bit more in Sabroso, like.
That allows fun and safe space.
Fun.
Yeah.
No, student to student allows fun and safe space.
Yeah.
So again, I'll say our key word and see how we can like formalize even better. But structure, repetition, progression, rhythm, honesty. Keep learning as a teacher, because I believe the most that we teach is the way we do, not what we say, but what we do. Connection, trust, help. Clear, things are clear, fun, intention. But we could also go through, element of doubt. As a teachers, we can also have element of doubt, and I'm sure everybody who even watching this, we all have have those moments, and how we can. But as we said, this the honesty the best. Okay, I have a doubt on this. Keep you updated next week. I'm gonna check.
Yeah, but like, for example, talking to some of our students, that's also one of the things that they love about us, and the reason why they come is not only for the class that they can get now, but is that they know that in a year they're gonna get like 10 times better class, because we always question each other, ourselves, and try to learn more and more and more. So they not only buy into the product in itself, but also what it means, and which is always like a site in construction, like a construction worker site. It's always in work in progress. It's always going up. But knowing that in the meantime there is something that is like structured, so literally like a construction worker site. Like there's always work in progress, but there is always fundamentals and foundations that have been built and are being built.
And that's also why we take the time to always make sure after every class that we do, and now Edna helped us for the first time, is how we can have give ourselves feedback and also give each other feedback, always in a safe place. And if we can do that between us, we can also do that with our students.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
It's time for me to go. I'm hungry. And anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to add?
Until next time.
Thank you.
If it's still recording, let me check.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still recording. Yes,
Great.
go.
It's awesome. I think it's awesome.
Let's go.